Series 1 of the Scale Up Your Sales and Marketing podcast is powered by Enterprise Nation, providing expert support for small businesses in the UK.
Welcome to episode 9 of the Scale Up Your Sales and Marketing podcast. And today we're going to be asking Leisa a really important question. It's one of those that we've all been through at one point in time. We're going to be asking her, why is no one returning my calls and emails?
I feel like I need to respond, I don't know, Nick. Why is nobody responding to my... And
you don't have a crystal ball?
No, do you know what? I wish I had a magic wand. I really do. So I wish I had a magic wand, and I wish I had £1 for every time I've been asked that question, because I'd be a very rich fairy by now. So I'm going to be going through not why, because let's face it, none of us know why, but actually some tools and techniques that you can use to make sure that more people respond to your calls and emails than are doing currently. First and foremost, it's really important to point out that it's not personal. They are not personally not responding to you because they don't like you. They're just not returning your calls and emails because they've probably got other things to do. And actually, they've got other more pressing items on their to-do list. So your role as the small business owner or the sales professional is to put yourself higher up their to-do list, or indeed to take yourself off their to-do list completely. And I'm going to talk to you about that. So we have quite a simple you'll be surprised, 3-step process that we go through when doing sales outreach programs on behalf of our clients. So it all starts with quality in, and this is really important because you need to make sure that the person that you are contacting is the right person. And I cannot stress enough that it's really important to make that initial call or connection to identify the decision maker, because you could spend a lot of time sending emails to an unknown email address that turns out to be the wrong person, and the person that does not have the authority to make the decision on behalf of the organisation. So quality in equals quality out. So first and foremost, you need to make sure you're speaking to the right person. And absolutely speaking to the right person means you know their name and you know their email address. So it is really important to have their actual name and not just their job title. So our 3-step processes, once we know that, so we've made a call to identify who the correct person is, we get that information. We send the information through via email. And the reason we do the email first is because we want to then have something to reference in our first telephone interaction. We want to be able to say, did you get it? What did you think? Etc., etc. And we do that process of 3 emails, 3 phone calls over a period of typically 6, 8 or 12 weeks. If we don't get a response after 3 phone calls, 3 emails, essentially 6 points of interaction, we add them to what we call a nurture list, which means that we keep in touch with them via our monthly emails or our quarterly bulletins, just to make sure that we remain sort of in their inbox and fresh in their minds. So we don't take it personally. We just think they don't want what we've got right now. So I think what I'm trying to say here is make sure you've got the right person and make sure you have a process. And the process is how you're going to interact with them, how frequently, and via what communication channel. So is that by phone or is that by email? And what I would say is that you need to make sure that you're adding in, as Vic has referenced, as many touch points as possible. So talking about touch points in the process of sales as opposed to marketing is that some people like to absorb information visually. So they will like to see your emails with the information. Some people will like to speak to you over the phone because actually they'll just be straight to the point and say, no, don't like it, but thanks anyway. Or they'll say, sorry, window of opportunity is closed, call us back next year. Job done, they can move on to the next thing. But it's important that you keep your communications fresh and across a number of channels to cater for all of those communication styles and preferences. This obviously is very much centered around smaller businesses where you have that direct into the decision maker. If it's a larger business, so I'll give you an example of something I've had recently. A client has been to a trade show. They've had a very exciting visitor to their stand. The visitor to their stand was giving all of the clear buying signals. Yes, I love it. Yes, I can see where it would fit. Send me the information. You need to go onto our website and fill out this new supplier form, register on the new supplier portal, etc., etc. They've done all of those things and then nothing. It just goes into the black hole of no response.
Oh, my heart just sank. That's so sad.
And it is very, very deflating, and actually that happens a lot, and I'm not saying it's right that it happens, but it does. And that's why I said very at the start of this episode that you must not take it personally. It's just that something else has slipped higher up their to-do list. But it's up to you to remain forefront of their minds. So what this person was trying to do with that person that had visited the stand was ultimately get some time in their diary. So they were trying to get some time in their diary to take them through, their selling deck or whatever you want to call it in more detail, because that was the buying signals that they were receiving, that the next stage was going to be, we're going to have you in for a meeting so that you can talk us through it. And obviously, that's not happening. So what I said to this particular person, and this is a large organisation, so the normal rules of, cold calling or whatever you want to call it don't necessarily apply, because actually this is a large organisation with probably a no-name policy, although they do have the person's name. So actually the telephone's not going to work for them. So what they need to do, and this is talking again about navigating networks and everything that we've been talking about, is they need to do a bit of homework around how they can get to that person. So these are some of the things that I recommended. Are there any industry events that this particular organisation, not the individual, but this particular organisation are attending, either as attendees or are speaking at, or are sponsoring, or are hosting? So any physical in-person events where you can actually rock up
and stalk them.
Correct.
I thought, I know where she's going here.
Because why not? It's that thing at a trade show, isn't it? If you've ever been to a trade show and there's a seminar, which there is a lot, and there's somebody on the stage and you think, I've done this loads. You think, I'm only sitting here for 45 minutes because I want that one moment of fame at the end when I can actually come and speak to you. But you have to do it because you have to put yourself out there. You have to be front and center of mind and make yourself stand out from the crowd. So where I'm going with this is nobody's responding to my calls and emails. Well, for a start, you need to do that more than once, because otherwise you can't throw that as a genuine concern. If you've really exhausted all opportunities, this is when you now need to move on to this approach. So they're not returning your calls and your emails after 3 attempts, which potentially is 6, 8, 12 weeks. Get them on your nurture list. Then you go for it on the where are they? Where are these people hanging out? Where is this organisation present? What events is this organisation participating in? Just any sort of dotted line, indirect link that you can find into this organisation. Get yourself there, get yourself an invite, show up, be present, have that conversation. The other way in which is that this, don't be tempted to send your selling deck over email. So if you are hoping to get time in the diary of that potential person, I would really encourage you to use that as your tool use your selling deck as your tool to get time with them, so you can actually take them through it in person, whether that be in person in real life or in person on Zoom or Teams, whatever that looks like. Because actually, if you send them the presentation without your impetus behind it, it's very simple and easy for them to just say thanks but no thanks. So actually, that is your hook. That is what you're trying to achieve. And then the other is that you need to sort of do your homework around information that exists within the public domain. So this is when you need to, more stalking. This is when you need to use LinkedIn, social media, whatever, the website, whatever that looks like in terms of building a picture of that person and that organization, and then being able to actually expand your network and try and find somebody else that sits on the periphery that can get you closer into that person. So again, use social media, take the process back into your control and actually do what you need to do to find them and connect with them. So turn up at events, stalk them on social media, find a way to hook them into time that you can take them through this thing in person. But you really need to be, pulling all the levers that you possibly can. And if they're still not returning, then I would ask you this simple question. Have you made it easy for them to reply? So when you send an email, do you include a call to action, which is hit reply to this email? I'd like to come and see you on this date. Is 12 o'clock okay? You need to give them a call to action and a reason to respond to you and to actually get that follow-up. So this is what I would say. Are you sending emails that just give information without asking for anything back? Because if you are, then actually there's no reason for them to reply, is there? Because you're not asking for that reply. So ask for that reply. And the reason why we do what we do 3 times is because there is a saying that goes, once is an accident, twice is a coincidence, 3 times is a habit. So once they've heard from you 3 times via phone and email, if nothing else, they at least know your name. They know your name, the name of your company, and the product or service that you sell. So you're now on their radar. And do you know what? If you're going to an event as a business, then let them know that you are going to that event and they can connect with you there. So my magic wand has not been waving very high for this particular episode because I don't have the answer. I really wish that I did, but I would just really challenge you every time you send an outbound communication. Are you giving that person a reason to come back to you? And are you actually taking control of that process? So if you send one email and then sit there and say, nobody's responding to my emails, get on the phone, get to an event that they're going to be at, get on LinkedIn. There are so many more things that you can do, but it is your responsibility to chase them, not their responsibility to respond to you. And I know that might sound harsh, and anyone new to sort of this type of thing would think, well, that's absolutely ludicrous. Why should I have to do all this chasing? They should be coming back to me. Well, that's just the way it is. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think sales can be a two-way thing, can't it?
Yeah.
It's not just like put your marketing stuff out there and spray and pray and just expect everybody to just come running. It's actually, if you want to be more proactive than just doing the marketing, then a sales outreach needs to go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
And that's the beauty of everything we're doing, is that it's building that wider picture of sales and marketing and how they dovetail together.
Yeah. And I think this whole podcast series is very much around giving you some tools and enablers to take control of these processes yourself. So this week, I was contacted by a colleague of mine, a peer of mine, who said that she'd seen an opportunity advertised in a Facebook group for a partnerships manager. So essentially an organisation was looking for a salesperson that could work with them on a freelance basis to secure sponsorships for them. And she said, I saw it and I thought of you and I thought you'd be brilliant for it. Well, this is an organisation that I've sort of heard of, but I'm not directly involved in. So the first thing I did was send an email, because she sent me a screenshot of the actual post in this particular Facebook group. So the first thing I did was send an email. So she sent me that message on Saturday. I was out and about, so didn't do anything about it. Obviously, it's the weekend. So Monday, first thing I did Monday morning was I sent an email, and I referenced my contact who'd put me in touch with this, because I deem her to be somebody with influence in that particular world. So all of the things I've talked about before, I did a bit of names dropping. So I said that she'd made me aware of it. I said, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is my credentials, so this is my email, 1, 2, 3. And then I said, I would love the opportunity to discuss this role in more detail. Here is my contact details. So that was on Monday. I then requested to join the Facebook group, because I thought, well, I better do that. And again, on my request to join, I put, this person pointed me towards you and requested to join. My request to join was accepted. By Wednesday, I hadn't heard anything. So I went back into the Facebook group and commented on the specific post asking for this partnerships manager, and just said, I have emailed you about this post. I would love to hear more about it. Looking forward to your response.
Poke.
And in a way, I did think, I shouldn't do that, because, maybe that's like, I'm letting the competition know that I'm in the running sort of thing. And then I thought, no, hold on. I
might put them off, if they know you're going for it.
And I thought, I've got to practice what I preach,
Absolutely,
haven't I? Because
this
is who they're looking for.
Yeah.
They're looking for somebody proactive that is going to go out to potential sponsors to join their community.
Yeah. They need to see that you've got the guts to be out there.
And the reason why I did that was because I consider myself to be pretty good at this, navigating networks, but I could not find the messaging facility or a contact number for this particular person. So I thought, well, I'm just going to have to put myself in the hands of the metaverse then, aren't I? So I replied, and she commented straight back, hi, Lisa. Yes, we've had quite a few inquiries. We have received yours. We'll be back in touch with you very soon. I haven't heard, so let's wait and see.
Have you not picked up the phone?
I can't find her. I can't find her phone number. This is it. If I could find, this is the point that I'm making, is I'm owning that process. So I'm not sitting there going, oh, I've emailed her on Monday and she hasn't come back to me.
Yeah.
So if I can find her email, which actually challenge accepted, Vic, and I'm going to find her email. No, her email, her phone number. I will call her, because I can do that. And actually that demonstrates intent, and it demonstrates that I'm keen and I want to know more and I want to work with them. And actually these traits that I'm displaying is what they're going to get from me if they take me into the fold as their partnerships manager. So this is what I'm saying, is it's not enough to just say no one's returning my calls or emails. You've got to do the legwork. And I'm going to leave you on this. So when I, sort of early in my stage of doing business, I got a bee in my bonnet about getting a particular client's product into a very large international hotel chain. And it became like my personal mission to get these drinks listed in this hotel, which I did actually achieve, by the way, but it took 3 years to do it. And the person that was my point of contact, or one of my points of contact, when we eventually got the drinks listed and we knew exactly where they were going and when, he replied via email and he said, thank you for persisting. Most suppliers don't. And I'm going to leave you on that.
Don't forget to follow us over at Scale Up Podcast on Instagram for behind the scenes footage and access to additional resources to help you master your own sales and marketing.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.